Dr. Casper here, and welcome to The Political Scientist.
All right, now let's get back to our conversation, and we were touching on the situation in the DRC and efforts by East African community countries to ensure that peace is realized in the DRC. Dr. Casper Njuguna was on that. Take it away, Dr. Casper.
Yes. Well, the situation in the DRC is complex. And, as the East African community countries, they need patience. They need to understand what is going on. DRC is a huge country. The government does not have the capacity, or has not yet grown to the capacity of being able to manage the entire country's security. People don't know, because it's a political issue, because you have different groups. There are 120 armed groups in Eastern Congo, 120. M23 is one of the big ones that has just clashed with the government after they were pushed out. The challenge is that right now the people on the ground, at one point they have expelled the ambassador from Rwanda. Congo has accused Rwanda of backing M23. Rwanda has blamed Congo for supporting other groups, I believe, like the LDRS, if I have their name correct. And so there are all these groups. There's ethnicity involved, and you know that ethnic conflict in Sub-Saharan Africa is a major challenge to deal with. So you're dealing with 4 countries: Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and DRC Congo. So as Kenyan troops are going in there, and as East African nations are trying to stabilize this, 4 of them are all involved in this chaos. And so I don't know if just sending troops on the ground is the solution in the long term, because DRC Congo is one of us now. It's a major nation. It's a rich nation, probably the richest nation as far as resource is concerned.
Yes.
So this is a great benefit to have this country. The problem is we have 4 countries. They all have disagreements, and they all accuse each other of funding these different groups that therefore have led to millions and millions of deaths since 1996. And so I'm not saying it's not a great effort. It's a great effort. It's good to see Kenya behind this, and you're trying to help send troops to deal with the issue. But at the same time, you have to realize and appreciate also on the ground, and that is, will sending troops by itself end this conflict that is so very complex and multidimensional?
Right, it is complex and multidimensional, and I love that you brought that up. So my question to you would be, should we be trying to understand the grassroots nuances in order to solve that, or are the peacekeepers going to be the answer to that? Because you can have cessation hostilities, but at the same time, the simmering conflicts keep continuing to a later death, and then they come up again. Yes,
you need both. Because what is a negative peace situation? There's the idea of negative peace and positive peace.
Yes.
Just trying to bring in peace to keep things calm. But the truth is, we will not have positive peace until we have those grassroots issues solved. There's a group that actually left after the genocide in Rwanda, and they set camp as refugees. Yes. Well, they started a group there that has caused a lot of issues, and of course the Tutsi government does not appreciate the Rwandese government does not appreciate that. While on the other hand, there is the other groups that say they are Congolese, but they're Tutsi descent, and they don't feel like they have entrance in the country. So it's really a major grassroots issue that the only way to solve it is to sit down with the parties, for East African countries to understand what is going on in order to deal with the underlying issue. But to simply send troops to say we're going to crush or quell or suppress, when it's alleged that the same East African countries are supporting some of these groups. So I don't see a situation where this actually ends with troops. There might be better peace, but for the sake of the people in Eastern Congo, DRC, their lives have been, thrown on sides since 1996. So that's not a formula for growth. This is a very rich area, but until we accept the fact that troops are not the answer, I even saw people asking for Putin to come in to help them. They're tired of the West, they're tired of rhetoric, and they're tired of peacekeeping troops, to be quite honest. And so I think in the long run, we really need to change our strategy.
Sort of adopt a hybrid strategy, so to speak. Now, lastly, I'd like us to talk about the ongoing trip that our President William Ruto has made. Also, remember, Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni is also in Seoul, that is in South Korea, trying to strike up deals, particularly in the areas of tech and, of course, furthering trade relations and also the area of energy. What do you make of that? And are these arrangements the best bet, particularly for Kenya, that is trying to boost its economic prospects?
Yes, I think this is a good, in part, this is a good model. Now, of course, South Korea being one of the 4 Asian tigers that was able to create major industries and is one of the leading countries in information and communication technology, this is a good place because Kenya has international recognition around the world for M-Pesa and all these other technologies that do very well. And so Kenya is partnering with places like South Korea can be extremely beneficial for Kenya. One of the big things that Kenya needs to do is to able to, if I can say, put itself when it comes to the creation of some of these gadgets, new cell phones and everything. We need to bring that information and that technology and create industries in Kenya. And so what I'm hoping to see is not just these agreements where African free and they're very happy, but the ability to bring that technology, the ability for us to be part of the life cycle of the creation of these products, because that's what's going to be transformative for Kenya. And it's something that I've always said, that Kenya cannot grow until it plugs itself somewhere in the mid-level of where whenever these products are made. That's how these Asian countries were able to grow. They're able to focus on a couple of industries instead of getting products. Because one of the things is a great trade deficit that sub-Saharan African countries have. Kenya and South Korea, I think, have about 200 million, if I'm not mistaken, in trade. But most of that is for South Korea because of where they stand. And so what we need as Kenya, when they're going for this trade, and I think it's a very great thing, because we can copy a model. We can look at another model because we look a lot at European models of development, European countries and Western countries. But going in and looking at how these Asian tigers were able to create some of the biggest companies, offering some level of public and private partnerships in creating these industries, I think this is beneficial. Kenya is one of those nations that is set to be able to actually grow and expand. A lot of us, a lot of the population is educated. We have a lot of people who are in IT. And so this is a great opportunity if the government can seize it, but it can only be done if the actual industries move to Kenya, or part of the process of creating these gadgets. Part of that process is done in country, in Kenya. That's what's going to bring a transformation.
Okay, thank you very much. That is Dr. Casper Njuguna, who has joined us from Dallas, Texas, just analyzing some of the biggest stories that have made the headlines this week. And of course, there's more, but time is not on our side. Time to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we shall be talking about the 16 days of activism that is celebrated, or rather, marked across the world. And of course, focus has to do with the well-being of the women and girl children, and of course, how we can ensure they have brighter futures by taking care of their health and tackling GBV.